So today's vlog comes to you from inside the house. We made a trip to the VA today, and we saw the physician assistant who saw Lisa instead of her regular doctor. Her regular doctor is on vacation, so that's who we saw. He's off for a few weeks, so we saw her physician assistant and got the results of the MRI of her brain, which there was nothing in her brain, no lesions, no indication of a stroke, no problems at all, no cancer, no metastases, nothing, which is a good thing. The doctor, or the PA, was quite concerned with her, how pale she is. She's like as white as my shirt, super weak, and, you know, she was really focused on that. I think that irritated her a little bit. So, with the doctor out of the office or out of the hospital for 5 weeks, they're going to outsource her chemo. Lisa wants to continue the chemotherapy. I honestly have to say I don't agree with that. It was hard on her before when she was still 140 pounds. Today she weighed 115. I was actually quite shocked at how much weight she's lost. The last time we were there to see them, which was sometime before Christmas, she weighed 130, 135 pounds, something like that. So, yeah, she's lost a chunk of weight in a very short period of time, something like 15 or 20 pounds. So the chemo. I don't agree with it. And I can't decide if it's for selfish reasons or if it's for protective reasons or if it's a little bit of both. I said in my last video that I was going to have to look for employment. As I said, we have about $4,000, $5,000 left in the bank. I don't know how long that'll last, and I don't want to be, like, without sounding morbid, I don't want to be at a zero balance when she's gone. You know, I don't want to be in dire straits. You know, I want to have something there to hold on to take a small trip with, to have a cushion. So, I took a job at Kroger. I go in tomorrow. It's for their new program. It's the first one in West Virginia, actually. You may have it in your community, but it's the first one in our state. It's called Click List, or List Click. Click List, List Click, Click List, Click List. I think that's what it is. I'm kind of happy about that. But I'm nervous about leaving her. You know, there will be people here part of the time, but not the whole time. And, you know, that's the other thing I've mentioned, is there are occasions that I leave and go to the store almost daily. I stay gone about an hour, hour and a half, at most 2 hours, and she does okay. So I'll get up in the morning and I'll get her set for the day, and I'll set up her meds for the day and write down when she's supposed to take them. And, you know, even though technically she's not supposed to, the aide has agreed to prompt her, hey, it's 2 o'clock, it's time to take your medicine, that kind of thing. Kroger has agreed to, I mean, when I interviewed, I laid it all out on the table. I told them everything. I told them she was terminally ill. I told them I'd gone through my savings. I told them I'm a social worker, and that my purpose for taking the job with them is so that I have some money to cushion what we have, and so that I have some away time, and that I would need an employer that was going to work with my schedule. And by my schedule, I mean her schedule. And, I told the guy, if it's an issue, then tell me now, don't hire me, but I will do my best to give you 2 weeks notice. We don't always have 2 weeks to give notice of, but, you can contact any of my supervisors. Any of them will tell you that I'm a good employee. Well, almost any of them. The last job, I'm not sure they would do that. That was a disaster. By the way, I shut my door off and crack a window. And I know I feel guilty, but so anyway, they agreed to work with me, which I think is awesome. I also talked to them about, my interest in the ClickList program, in particular, that it speaks to me as a social worker. It speaks volumes to me, because, I know the potential good it can do in our community. And I had spoken to my previous boss, the job I was at for 15 years, working in public housing, and I had already gotten her okay. By the way, she's a good friend now. That, she would make it so that I could come to the senior high-rises and advocate the program. And, if Kroger will allow me the opportunity to help them with marketing, I call it community outreach, but I called it marketing for them. I really feel like I can make a lot of connections to volunteer organizations in the community who can bring more business in, specifically for people who are shut in and can't do their own shopping, but they can have an advocate come to their house and go through a grocery list. And then that advocate, who normally would shop for them, to be honest, I've been that advocate before, can just go to Kroger and pick it up. Now, mind you, all the high-rises are down in town, and that's about 12 miles away, 10 miles away. But I will tell you, as a professional social worker, that if I could drive 10 miles and have somebody load groceries in my car, instead of me having to personally shop for that client, that's going to save an enormous amount of time. And what they can do is they can do 5 clients at one time and then just deliver the groceries. And, have one day a week where they go do that and work with Kroger on that. So I kind of hope to get in the general manager's mind once they get a new general manager. They don't have one yet, but the young man that interviewed me seemed somewhat interested in it, and in particular the older guy that I talked to also seemed quite interested. So hopefully I can impress them and maybe, be a liaison. That would be really cool. And then that would kind of count as a social work job. So hopefully, then I could not have to look for a social work job somewhere. I'm hoping to create a niche for myself there. So getting back to the chemo, I'm really interested to see what you all think. And I'm not getting a whole lot of views, and I'm hoping eventually I will. It's probably very likely that by the time I start getting views on these videos, she'll be gone, and I will have started the healing process, and I'll probably end up just helping people. But, I just sitting here talking to the camera helps me so much. Yesterday she almost fell. Yesterday morning going to the bathroom, she pitched forward and almost fell into the toilet. Fortunately, even though I'm 51, I still have good reflexes. And I caught her and basically just caught her like this and pulled her back against me and stabilized her with my body. And it jarred her a little bit, but she didn't fall. There's no broken bones. So that's a good thing. So the home health nurse came yesterday too. And she asked me if we were ready for a potty chair. And I told her yes. Please go ahead and bring it. And before the day was out, they were delivering the potty chair. Like within 3 or 4 hours, it was here. I don't think it's going to be long before she's using that. I'm not sure if I'll even be able to keep the job at Kroger. He told me that I'd be on a 45-day probation and that they could let me go at any time. And I told him that was perfectly understanding. And, you know, hell, if even I get 3 or 4 weeks pay in, that's going to be $200 or $300. You know, it's something. So the doctor, I asked her about the chemo and what good there is in doing more chemo. And she said, well, the good is that it possibly could slow it down. It's not going to reverse it. Like, it's not going to get better. It's just going to slow it down. But she looked directly at my roommate and she said that it would make her sicker and make her weaker. I don't know how she could get any weaker, you know. Well, I do, but I mean, if she gets any weaker, she's not going to be able to get out of bed. And she will probably go incontinent. I will say I'm not going to force her to get up and go because I really think it's a fruitful thing now. She asked me, my roommate asked me in front of the doctor what I thought, and I didn't tell her what I thought. I told her that whatever she decided I would support. But what I think is, I'm tired, and I know she is. And for the life of me, I don't understand. I do and I don't. Why she is still wanting it. She told me on the car ride home that we would do 2 or 3, so we're talking over 9 weeks, which is a long time. By that time, I'm going to be broke. You know, do it for 2 or 3 rounds of it and then decide. I'm like, okay. But I can't get her to tell me why. So I asked her if she was afraid. You know, are you afraid of dying? Are you scared? And she wouldn't answer me. She just said, I just want to keep trying it. I want to keep doing it. And I just honestly think she's scared to death. And I don't want her to think I want her to die. I don't want her to die, but I cannot fucking stand this anymore.